Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Freedman. Our next guest joining us in the studio is Jyotin Gambhir, founder of SecureFlo. Welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So SecureFlo is a company that focuses on compliance around security and privacy. And our focus essentially is for all verticals, including healthcare, financial services, fintech, retail, marketing companies, data mining companies, data analytics companies, a lot of companies that perform new ideas as a SaaS service, software as a service, as well as a platform as a service. Most of our clients are located in the cloud. We've worked with larger companies as well, including the large hospital networks as well as the large financial services companies. Our primary focus, again, going back to that, is security and privacy. And we provide compliance services around assessments, penetration testing, vulnerability assessments, things which companies need today to understand where they're vulnerable from ransomware attacks, denial of service attacks, things which would put them down and take them out of business.
So just to understand, is SecureFlo strictly services, or do you provide product, or are you product agnostic in terms of deployment? How does that work?
Absolutely. So that's a very good question. So our focus is services. We are platform agnostic. We do provide some product around training, which is around the compliance training capabilities to our customers. And we are focused on listening, learning, and innovating. So we try to provide platforms if the customer finds it easier to track what they need, as well as keep the information that they are providing around their assessments for their external auditors.
Excellent. So really focused around a lot of the compliance issues, but
Yes.
at the same time making sure that they are not vulnerable.
Absolutely. So it is compliance, but we also look at standards. So compliance tells you what you should be following. Standards tell you what are the best practices. And so we focus on things like NIST and ISO, where those are the standards that allow you to know what you are competing against as far as your competitors, as well as best practices in the industry. These days, other than security, privacy is very important. GDPR being the European privacy standard, which is now being implemented in the U.S.
In certain states, state by state, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
So another problem in our country, right?
Yeah, so everybody's going to have a different time to kind of,
Right.
follow. So CCPA,
I got notification that California the other day,
Exactly.
because of Google,
Yeah.
just launched or
Yeah,
passed.
well, it's launching January 1st,
Okay.
2020, but but it is ready to. So CCPA is coming up, and then Nevada and New York are closely following.
So what are some of the common or more common issues that you find in organizations? And it may differ large versus small, because I imagine large organizations that you're dealing with probably have entire not only IT, but compliance staffs, if you
Absolutely.
will.
Yep.
And then some of your smaller, more entrepreneurial type may outsource their IT, or
Yeah.
maybe, cobbling things together. So is there a big difference that you find in large enterprises versus small in terms of privacy, compliance, security, and what are they?
Yeah, absolutely. So great question around that. So the differences primarily are smaller companies. So everything around compliance is based on governance standards, and then following it around development operations and IT operations. Smaller companies do not have good governance, which means they don't have good policy and a good roadmap on how to deploy things. That's where we start.
Shoot from the hip.
Absolutely. So they start
Hodgepodge.
by, they're developing, their focus is to get to market, to provide their service, they provide their platform, and they're not thinking about how to do various IT operations things, which are good. Larger companies is a different beast, where they have a lot of people, but not necessarily the best compliance standards in play, just because they have legacy systems, systems that have developed over time. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of homegrown applications, and those applications can be risky. They have a lot of mainframes, old applications, and so that's a concern.
I would imagine that, as you say, along with those legacy systems, there's so much work done inside those organizations to just support if you will, and maybe develop next gen. But again, somebody like your firm coming in and being able to evaluate, a plan and a roadmap towards not only the development cycle, but compliance, security, those types of issues.
Absolutely, and we focus as in security and compliance. It's all about people, process, technology. So skilled labor is a concern for large and small. Process, which is the governance part, is a problem for a smaller company more than for a larger company. They have, but it's hard to follow and deploy through training. And technology, they all have technology, and actually the cloud makes it easier for everybody to get that same technology cheaper, as opposed to owning a data center. But that also means there are challenges around understanding what to deploy, where, and how.
Well, I would imagine, given that the pace of change and the rate at which new technologies and new tools and new protocols and practices and compliance issues are coming out, makes it very hard for somebody that's caught within their own, myopic view of the world. I just got to keep the system up and running, to really be abreast of what's best practice. What are new technologies? What are new options? So that's where a company like yours must be, gold for them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And I think we try very hard to provide the best service for our clients. And we try to make sure that not only can they purchase our services, but they are within their budgets. And I think the important thing to understand is that the security is not an absolute. So, there are cities and towns which have had ransomware attacks and their systems closed down. And similarly, there have been smaller companies that have gone out of business. So it can happen to anyone, but you want to have the right advisors, right partners, and look at your vendors, because your risk today is not only internal to your company, but also the vendors that provide you products.
So walk us through what you must have a system or a process that you go through in terms of an engagement. What, at a high level, what might that look like? There must be some, discovery phase and then whatever else you go through. So
yeah. Absolutely. So I think what we really do as a company is come in and try to understand where you are on a maturity scale. So we look at giving you a base assessment to help you understand, do you have policies in place? Do you have good development operations in place? Do you have a good release management in place? So we look at all your aspects, look at the maturity, and then from that point on, try to understand what is your goal. Is your goal compliance? Is your goal better security? Is your goal to deploy a technology? And then we try to meet that within a project plan, within a timeline, depending on what your need is.
So, all fascinating. We talked a little bit before we came on air. You're the founder of the company and first-time entrepreneur. You've been in the corporate world for a number of years, and
yes.
Probably learned a lot of the best practices and compliances through that career. What's been some of the challenges that you found as an entrepreneur and lessons learned? Because one of the things that we try and do on Radio Entrepreneurs is share the wealth of knowledge from people that have gone through it and what that might look like. So, if you had that crystal ball, when you launched, what are some of the things that you've learned along the way that you think, would have been nice to know that?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that's actually probably the more of a learning curve that I've had as a new entrepreneur per se, worked in the corporate world for many years. Is that, to kind of understand how to work with employees or hire people, the right people for the right jobs within our company, to balance growth with raising money and spending the money in a fashion, and trying to understand where we can grow in terms of regions, how much marketing is, and marketing has been a big challenge, and sales growth, because we are technology folks and we are not very good at sales and marketing as such. So we've learned a lot about the sales and marketing, especially now with social media, et cetera. It's been a challenge, and I think so. Raising money and marketing would be my biggest challenge as such.
Great examples. What is your current footprint? Where do you service clients?
So we service clients now all over the country. So we have clients in California. We have clients on the West Coast, East Coast, Central, and mostly 90% still are in the East Coast, Northeast.
Wow. So really a big footprint in a relatively short period of time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. But Yeah, we've really enjoyed the growth. I've enjoyed the journey, and it is a journey.
Fabulous. Jyotin, if people want to get in touch with you, why don't you tell us what's the best way to reach you or reach your company?
Absolutely.
Let's do some marketing for you here.
Thank you.
Inbound. Get the phones ringing.
Exactly. So you can reach us on, of course, through our website, www.secureflo, which is SECUREFLO.net, and it is .net. Or you can reach us by calling us at 617-299-3747, which is our number. We're located in Boston. You can reach us on our Twitter handle, which is SecureFlo1, SECUREFLO1. LinkedIn is another source to reach us. I wouldn't even try to give you the whole LinkedIn URL, but yeah, you can reach us at LinkedIn as well. Thanks.
Excellent. Our guest on Radio Entrepreneurs has been Jyotin Gambhir, founder of SecureFlo, and it's really been a pleasure having you on Radio Entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again.
And we'll be right back with another segment